There we go. Now we've got it. All right, we are going live. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Hogan, and this is Trackside with Tom. It is February 17th of 2023, and I am here today with Jee Micheel. Is that correct?
Mitchell.
Jee Micheel. I'm sorry. Yes, Jee Micheel. I screwed that up the very first time. Jee is the author that came up with our very first full-length article on the RRHMA moves. So, Jee, why don't you give us a little bit of a sound check here and introduce yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, my name is Jee Micheel. I'm a railfanner in Milwaukee. I've been watching trains. I was with my older brother for a good part of 5-6 years. Of course, now he's moved off, and I'm still out here like a maniac catching trains.
All right. Well, we have some exciting news to share with everyone when we get to that point also. But you're out there at DuPlainville this afternoon, is that correct, at the Diamonds?
I am out there at the Diamond.
Yes. And I actually have the Nina cam pulled up, so about, 45, 50 miles north of you. And we're seeing there's nothing moving your direction, at least by Nina at this time anyway. You said you just did get a CN move. Which way was it going?
We just got one heading, one westbound and 2 eastbounds.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, let's talk a little bit about the article that you wrote. And I'm going to pull up these photos that... So you did an interview with Scott Dolink, who was one of the volunteers at RRHMA. And I'm actually pulling up pages 34 and 35 of the latest issue of Steel Highway so that people can see the photos that he contributed. So
yeah, I loved working with Scott. He's a great guy, great wealth of information, really responsive, just overall a great person to work with. And he provided me with a lot of great information, provided the excellent photos that you saw, the one-of-a-kind photos of some really historic equipment. Just such a great guy, such a great time working with the guy.
Yeah. So I'm going to scroll up here and just show people we've got 2 pages of an article here, and then we've got 2 pages of photos, and then we're followed up with 2 more pages of article, and this is all pages 32 through 37 in the latest issue of Steel Highway. So, I'm just going to add as an addendum here also that I happen to be at the event where they were showing off that first afternoon after they had arrived with the equipment, and they handed over the bill of sale for the 3985 from, the UP representative handed it over to Steve Sandberg. And so that's where I got the video of them shoving 3985 into the building. And that's actually a video that you can check out on Steel Highway. So tell us a little bit about your perspective of writing this and working with Scott, who was also there to witness this event.
You know, it's one of those things that I thought was really good. I mean, this is just a monumental step for rail preservation, and I was very excited when I heard about it, knew I had to do something with it, so I really wanted to write about it so I could personally learn more and I could help others learn more on it. And I was looking at contacts at the RRHMA to find someone to get a little more insight here, and one of my other friends suggested Scott, and I reached out to Scott, and he was just a great guy right from the start. Gave me what I needed to know, sent me some really nice pictures. Yeah, it all went very smoothly.
Yes, and I can actually tell you from the RRHMA took about 5 copies of this magazine, and they were very impressed with the work that you did also. So excellent work on it, Jee.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, In terms of the actual move into the building, we've got the photos here. Not the actual move into the building, but the actual restoration. The 3985, it turns out, is actually project number 1 that the folks at RRHMA are working on. And they're looking at somewhere between 2 and 3 years of restoration work and having this thing ready to go potentially sometime toward the end of 2024 or the beginning of 2025. So that's something that it's very much the highest priority, and it's quite frankly, it's the engine that they've got that's the closest to actually being in operable condition. So that made a big difference in the decision to do that as well. So the next thing we were going to talk about here, G, is let me find my, here we go. For some reason I dropped my note card, but that's all right. We're going to talk about, so we're going to continue to do articles just like this RRHMA article going forward in future issues of Steel Highway as well. So why don't you tell them a little bit about what we're working on for the next issue without, giving the whole shooting match away.
Yeah, for the next issue, I really want to cover something having to do with Metra and their wonderful heritage program. They've been one of the few railroads who really cares about their heritage, and they've shown that through all the special livery units they've made, and it's a fantastic operation. So I'm trying to find out a little more about that, and at the same time, everyone wants to know more about the new SD70 Mocs. Those are really intriguing units.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you that it's going to be a great case study when we start comparing these Metra SD70s that are off the rebuild program with the Amtrak Siemens units that have had so many issues. Then it's going to be a fascinating side by side to see how these are operating in real world conditions in the next 6 months to a year here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're breaking up pretty bad there. Are you getting some feedback?
Yeah, I am on my end.
Why don't you hang up and call me back quick, and I'll call you. We'll resume the call here. So G is going to be jumping back on with us in just a moment. And as a matter of fact, he's already, here we go. And hello again.
There we go.
Yes, much better. Thank you. Look at how quickly we solved that problem.
Absolutely.
Excellent work there. So the Metra Heritage units, so right now they have a Milwaukee Road unit, they have a C&W unit, they have a Burlington unit, and a Rock Island unit. Is that the 4?
That's the big 4, yep.
Right. And then these SD70 Max, has anybody seen them out actually operating yet, or are they still just in the shop waiting to be deployed?
So far, they have not been seen operating. There have been pictures of them outside of the shops.
Right, and pictures of them being delivered, yes.
Yep. So which let us know that, yes, they are again continuing their heritage theme by doing a Regional Transit Authority RTA painted scheme on the, I think, 501, 500, one of those.
Yes. That is a very sharp looking unit. I was pretty impressed with that as well. Yep. So these are things that we have to look forward to. And, if people have ideas for articles that we can run in the future, I would love to see them in an email, or if you want to throw them in the chat here, we would love to have ideas for what you guys want to see. I know that there was a big push in the first year of operation here to actually start incorporating articles in with the issues of Steel Highway, and we've found a way to do that. I'm obviously very happy to be working with G and Thomas Dyrek as well, as he is doing the editing for us for these articles at the same time. So The next question that I had for you here, G. So obviously you're out here rail fanning. You live in the Milwaukee area, but you also work at a hobby shop in the Milwaukee area as well. The Southside Trains hobby shop there.
Absolutely. We're right by the Milwaukee Airport. We're on 3979 South Howell Avenue. And very exciting announcement is we are going to be the first brick and mortar hobby shop to carry Steel Highway.
That's right. I'm actually in the process of preparing 6 copies of the magazine, the latest issue, number 6, to mail up to Milwaukee so you guys can have them on the shelf to sell to people. And from everything that I've heard, I mean, obviously people really like the eye candy, but you've had very positive feedback just showing off the copy that you already have to people in the hobby shop there, correct?
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, eye candy, it's the perfect magazine for that. High quality photos, nice high quality paper, great magazine length.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy that you were able to convince the ownership that they should definitely carry the magazine. One thing I am going to point out, and I'd forgotten to do this when we were talking about RRHMA, but on page 22 of the Steel Highway issue number 6, there's a picture here of Ronald Ron, who is the curator of the Silvis Shops and Museum, and he's standing here doing, he's one of the volunteers that works on the 261 runs out of Minneapolis, and this is some of their North Pole Express runs from just this December. And so I wanted to recognize Ronald Ron also for getting me into the shop to be able to see that first event when the engines were being spotted and everybody was showing up, and I just really appreciate Ronald for helping me out with that. So that's another wonderful contact that I've been able to make here in the course of running Steel Highway. And then, just so that everybody knows, over here on the right side, we also have a Chris Lastovich photo of the 261 running through Glencoe, Minnesota on the dinner train excursions that they enjoyed 2 falls ago when they got rained on very hard. So, sorry about that, G. I did want to interject with that just so that people knew that part of the story as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then with the Southside Trains hobby shop, to be able to have the Steel Highway magazine on the shelf and actually being retailed, I want to express my gratitude to you and to the ownership for making that happen. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. And then the final thing that you and I need to talk about a little bit is tell us a little bit about your rail fanning there. You're obviously on the west side of Milwaukee, kind of northwest of Milwaukee today. What are some of the areas that you hit up, or some of the hot spots that you like to hit out there?
My stomping grounds pretty much stretch anywhere from the C&M subdivision around the Milwaukee area, the depot, getting the Hiawatha's. I can go as far north as Fond du Lac, typically, get some nice Canadian National, going in and out of Shops Yard, the Byron Hill. A lot of fascinating stuff. Right now I'm sitting at the Plainville, which is a diamond between the Canadian National Waukesha subdivision and the Canadian Pacific Watertown subdivision. Moderately busy, great diamond, makes lots of really great noise when the trains go flying over it. We saw 3 trains here actually not that long ago, just before I hopped on the call with you.
Yes. And, we're not going to disclose a bunch of information, but I am looking at more webcam locations, specifically in eastern Wisconsin, southeast Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee area. So definitely looking forward to getting some more coverage out that direction. I know that there's a huge base of rail fans out there in southeast Wisconsin that would just love to see a little more webcam presence in their area.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, G, do you have any other final thoughts for us? Otherwise, I'm gonna let you go, and we'll go on with the rest of the program here.
You know, I don't think I do. I greatly appreciate you bringing me on. It's been a fun time.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to your future contributions to the Steel Highway magazine in future issues. So, thank you, Jee, and we will talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. All right. See you later.
All right, that was Jee Micheel, and he has been a contributor to the most recent issue of Steel Highway, and he's going to continue contributing photos to future articles and photos to future issues as well. So as we're here at the Neenah, Wisconsin location, I do want to take a moment and thank everyone for tuning in. We got Stephen Kern here, Robin Waters, Barry up in Butler Junction, just outside of Wisconsin, or Milwaukee as well, and Michael Richmond, hello. And Mighty Lou and Rocky Run, CSX 911 Man, yep, hello. Hello, everyone. Yardmaster, hello, guys. Amish Alco Man. So, I don't know if you're new or not, but definitely good to see you here. Thanks for commenting today. Santa Fe Man, Steve Emmons, hello. Al34, or is it AI34? I can't really tell. Al or AI34? Hello, guys. HO Scale is Brett. Good to see you. And camera out at DePlainville. You know, that is one of the projects that I am trying to work on. I would love to have a camera at the DePlainville Diamonds, and it is a high priority on my list of things that I'd like to accomplish. And Steve Emmons, yes, the future for the Manly Cam. So we are going to get the Manly camera back online. What happened was, actually, there was snow and ice sliding down off the roof of the building, and it pushed the camera down so far that it's literally pointing down at the sidewalk. You can't see any trains. So we turned the camera off. It's still functioning. And at some point I need to get back up there. I need to install a radio, which the radio that I took up there initially with me died. So we don't have a scanner radio in Manly. We're going to fix that. And then we're also going to get the camera aimed correctly again so that we can actually have a view of railroad tracks and not just looking at the street next to the museum there in Manly. And NI Railfan and Kansas Train Videos, Tyler, good to see you guys. So that's a little bit on the future of the Manly webcam. It's definitely coming back. It's just a matter of we got to figure out how to stop the snow from knocking the camera down, and then also getting a camera installed, or a scanner radio installed to go along with the camera. So those are the two things that I'm presently trying to work on. Any other questions that you guys have got during the course of the show here, just throw them into the comments. And oh yeah, watch for frogs. Absolutely, watch for the frogs. Yes. So anyway, we're going to back up here a little bit at Neenah. We have our private host at Neenah, and we definitely appreciate him allowing us to have this fantastic location across from the Neenah yard. And we are just going to back up here because I knew I didn't have to go back too far. There we go. And we have a northbound CN train. It looks like he's got a Tier 4 leader. And then that second one might be an AC 44, but not, I don't know, that didn't look quite right. Went by a little too quick for me. But we have a northbound train here at the Neenah yard. And as we're rolling by this northbound train, everyone just make sure and know that we have we have one of the most important ways to support the Steel Highway is to order Steel Highway magazine. You can go to steel-highway.com, or you can subscribe to the channel. I know that we actually have 8 subscribers to the channel now, and so I need to get up to date and get the things mailed out, we should we should spend a moment and just go over the channel memberships. We have 8 members. 6 of them are the 440 American, and then I have 1 at the 460 10-wheeler and 1 at the 282 Mikado. So we have people joining and supporting the channel via YouTube, which is fantastic. And if you join at the 440 American level, it's $4.99 a month, and you get the most recent issue of the Steel Highway magazine. If you join at the 460 10-wheeler, which is $6.99 a month, at that level you get the Steel Highway magazine and the most recent issue, and you get a ball cap. And then if you join the 282 Mikado, which is $8.99 a month, you get a Steel Highway camera strap, ball cap, and the issue of the magazine. So that's something that, there's some really nice perks here for people that choose to join and support. Oh, we got a DPU. It looks like it has the One Nation logo maybe on the nose as it was going by there. So some really nice perks that we've got going along, and I'm going to be taking some time in the next couple of days, now that I'm more or less caught up with the other things in my life here, that I'm going to get these magazine issues shipped out to people, and the ball cap and the camera strap to the people that ordered those. One thing I will tell you, it is very important, very, very important to make sure that when you sign up for a membership, that you also fill out the form so that I know where to mail your stuff. And I don't think that anyone has failed to do that so far, but I do want to make sure that everyone knows that that is important, because if you want to get your stuff, we need to make sure that we can mail it to you, have a physical mailing address. You can also email me a mailing address if you haven't already, and I can send stuff out that way as well. Now, yes, still waiting on your stuff. Yes, Michael, I'm aware of that. I will be sending it out to you. Like I say, that's something I'm going to work on this week, is to get everybody caught up with the different things that people have ordered via their subscription level. Where's Evan been? Well, Evan has taken a new job, and he will be co-hosting with me when I start doing the evening shows. So we'll be able to, we're going to have co-hosts back on here. I actually don't have an interview lined up at all for next week. So I'm going to have some of the guys on here co-hosting with me. But we're definitely going to have some fun with the co-hosts here coming up in the coming weeks as well. And just so that everyone knows, I am planning on obviously continuing this every Monday routine that we have going on. And then we're going to have eventually we're going to have a Wednesday night 9 p.m. Central show as well that I'm going to do weekly. I don't have the ability to commit that much time to it yet, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer to that point with every passing day. So here is the rear of our northbound train by Neenah, Wisconsin. And we will back up and look for, see if we can find one more roll by off of Neenah. And I don't know how far back I'm going to have to go, but we'll find another one here somewhere. I am fully confident that the CN did not, in fact, stop running trains through Neenah this morning. So we're just going to back up until we find what we're looking for. Going back, it looks like there's a train landing in the yard. Oh, no, I found. Here we go. Here we go. Yep. Oh, we should get Paul on as a co-host? I don't know what he would have to say about that. That's an interesting question. So we're going to jump ahead just a little bit here. We've got a crew switching in the yard in the background. Did not see what the switch engine power was, though, because they're blocked by this other cut of cars that's on the siding. I don't know, maybe I was imagining things. I thought for sure. Oh, I gotta go back this way. That's why. Here we go. I did this the wrong way, of course. That's why I was confused. I've got to go back this way. And then we will find... Yes, now we can see. We got a clear shot. We got a clear shot across the yard, and we can see we've got an IC switch engine bouncing around there in the background. Can't quite make out the number. Looks like an IC Jeep. Maybe 9627, but I could be guessing on that too. And now, in addition to this IC Jeep, we've got a northbound that's coming up underneath the bridge. And what has he got for some power today? So this northbound, and he's not even on the main. He's the guy that's landing on the yard track or the siding. And pair of CN motors. That leader looks like it's a CN SD70 or SD75M, one of the two. And then a GE motor second out. CN Tier 4. Hello, welcome to the channel. We need a PTZ here. Well, we got two cameras. We've got something like 280 degrees of view here. We don't even need PTZ. But yeah, any camera location could definitely be upgraded with PTZ. You are right. CN Tier 4, yes, we enjoy this line also. This is the CN Waukesha, or the Neenah sub. Sorry, we're further north. We're not on the Waukesha sub. We're on the Neenah sub, and then we're gonna jump over to the Stevens Point cameras next, actually. So, yeah, 75i. Yeah, I have a hard time picking out the difference between the 70s and the 75i's. But I was pretty confident that's what we were looking at. So this is from 9:49 this morning, and we have a northbound CN train landing at the Neenah yard. Plan on finding another camera location on this line. I would love to have more camera locations on this line. I actually think that... one of the things that I'd really like to do is to have another camera location somewhere up in the Ladysmith area, somewhere, north and west of Stevens Point would be fantastic. If we found a camera location that was willing between Neenah and Stevens Point, I'd certainly consider that as well. And then further south on the Waukesha sub, absolutely. To have something down there, I think I've mentioned it before. I have spoken with the guys that run the depot in Slinger, and that would be another fantastic location. To me, to have a camera on each side of a crew change point is a big deal too. So that's something that I really liked. And, the crew change points up here are Fond du Lac and Stevens Point. Any Illinois locations, the Chicago suburbs, I would love to. I don't have anything concrete at this time, but I always have locations that I'm trying to work on. I don't know if you consider Griffith a Chicago suburb, but it definitely has a lot of Chicago-bound traffic over there. And in terms of locations, there are places, to me, if I could have a camera on each one of the radiating lines that goes west out of Chicago, one on the CP, one on the CN, which we have out at East Dubuque, but like one between Freeport, say, and Hawthorne on the CN, To have one on the CP somewhere maybe east of Davis Junction, somewhere on the Mendota sub, to have something on the Geneva sub, I would absolutely, I'd love to do it. Fond du Lac would be neat, especially somewhere south of the yard. You get to see helper power running back and forth. Yes, I agree. Camera between La Crosse and East Dubuque. You know, I do think that I totally agree with you. I actually had a lead on a location between. Oh, I'm failing to come up with the name now, but it was a lead on a camera location that north of Prairie du Chien, between Prairie du Chien and La Crosse, and it turned out that the people might have been interested in hosting, but they're in the process of trying to sell the property, so that really wasn't going to work. But yes, I would, you know, somewhere between East Dubuque and La Crosse, certainly. Somewhere between East Dubuque and Savannah would be nice. I mean, I love all of it, but I just don't know. It's just not all realistic to be able to get cameras in every single location that I would necessarily like to. Yes, Prairie du Chien itself would be great. It's somewhere in the city. It would be have to somewhere like in downtown, but there's quite a bit of downtown where the BNSF does run through Prairie du Chien. So this guy is pulling up. I don't know if he made a cut or had to throw a switch or what the story is, but he is pulling up now. And we are going to jump over now, and we're going to go to another Steel Highway webcam, and we're going to go check out Stevens Point, because we need to see everybody's favorite snowman on the Stevens Point South webcam. And I know that Paul is very, very proud of the fact the Foamer Snowman is right here. Foamer the Snowman. And actually, they're kind of lacking in snow right now. 9:04, 9:29, 10:24, 12:33. Wow, been a busy morning out there in Stevens Point. The smoke in the background, I assume it was that Jeep that was making all the smokiness in the background. It was probably that icy Jeep. So anyway, here we have Foamer the Snowman. I know that Paul is very proud of the fact that he has him sandbagged in place, and hopefully he's not going to fall over again. But Foamer the Snowman is kind of our mascot for the Stevens Point webcams over here. So thank you for the times, Paul. I appreciate that. And it does look like, yes, we need a Steel Highway logo. Maybe we should send you a Steel Highway ball cap to put on him. That would be interesting. And a camera strap to put it. You could put it on him like a sash. That would be pretty neat. So I'm going to jump over now to the Stevens Point North camera. And we'll actually do this roll by off of the Stevens Point North camera. So let's go over there and we will see that, we'll back this up a little bit and see what the head end was. There we go. So this is Stevens Point North. We are just west of the Wisconsin River and just west of the Stevens Point Yard and the Stevens Point Depot, which is all kind of in downtown. Now this is interesting. Somebody's whistling. I wonder if they're actually whistling for the webcam, because there's no crossings out here. But we have the CN 2999 leading what would appear to be an empty crude oil train going back to Alberta to get reloaded. Is this what happens when foam freezes into snow? Nice. When is the Carroll Depot webcam going to be fixed? Well, I have to make a trip out there. I don't know if the PC has died or what the story is. But the Carroll Depot is definitely high on my list of things to resolve. I just don't have an answer as to exactly when I'm going to get out there to take a look at it and try to get that figured out. But when I go, I'm going to take a new PC with me because I'm pretty confident that's probably what the issue is out there. So as we roll this guy by, I'm pretty sure that this is just we're going to jump ahead to live, and we're going to see that there's still... This guy is still rolling by. He's picked up some speed. The engineer knows Rocky Run. That's got to be what it is. Yeah, because like I was saying, there's no crossings out here at all. The dude was whistling for the webcam, so that's pretty awesome. So thank you to Paul for our private host here in Stevens Point for allowing us to have this webcam location. And as we, there are other places in central and western Iowa I'd love to have webcams on the UP too. It's a matter of time and funding and everything else that it takes to get these webcams put in place. And here comes our DPU. Oh, we got a City Rail leaser. Well, City Rail CN unit now. Just hasn't been repainted yet. So, all right, we are going to go back a little bit further here and check out another roll-by from the Stevens Point webcam. And here we go. I'm pretty sure that this one, I mean, I kind of got distracted by that oil train that went by initially. But I'm pretty sure that this is the one that I was like, ooh, that's kind of nice. So 3025, we got a Tier 4 liter in the 2977. And third unit, we have a 2846. So 3 big modern CN units, 2 GEs. And rumor new CN paint scheme from the new CEO, and when announced, all city rails getting it. Interesting. Well, we'll see if that happens. This is this train with all these empty center beam flat cars on it. This is the one that I was looking for. Now, I don't know what kind of, what the length of train is on anything, but this is the sort of thing that I see that it just scares me a little bit, that seeing all those cushion drawbars and empty flat cars on the head end of a long train. How to put pictures in the link or attach when someone needs to show us how to do this. Oh, I don't know if I've never actually tried to do that. I'll have to take a look and see. I'm not sure if there's a way to post pictures in a link or not. But maybe as a moderator, you're able to do that. I guess that's something that'll require a little more research on my part to determine exactly how to do it. So, Paul, do you have a train symbol on this one that you care to share with us? You know what we're dealing with here. But this is another northbound going by Stevens Point here a little earlier this morning. And we've got lots of center beam flats. And then just some mixed manifest here following up. How many mods? Well, I don't know. I think we might have about a dozen mods now to work all 31 cameras when they're all up and running. Yeah, exactly. Asking for a derailment. You know, the NS learned about that out in, well, I think that was actually a hot axle. But, no, it was the UP that had an empty center beam flat car down in Kansas City that they folded up in half and caused a derailment. That's right. But, no, that was that sort of thing it just doesn't impress me very much when I see lots of high cube box cars going by here also. BNSF box cars, as a matter of fact. And more center beam flats. I think it's pretty safe to say that these are going north to get reloaded. A Wisconsin Central box car. It's a little bit rare, out of the ordinary. And these are, these are some of these forestry box cars. These are going north to get reloaded with paper products up in Canada and northern Wisconsin and Minnesota. Brand new, what they call those, the gold bricks, those new UP box cars with the symbol and the lettering all up on top. And then TTX boxes and a CN box car, all kinds of interesting stuff here. I could not read exactly what that said, but that was definitely interesting. Horsetooth, I think, is what was written on the side of that box car. Pardon me. Yeah, so speed restrictions. Dave was up in Stevens Point when it was Wisconsin Central. Yeah, all SD45s running up and down the railroad. I'm sure Dave can tell us all about it. So I'm going to scroll back through here. We're going to find one more roll by a little bit earlier off of Stevens Point, and then we will move along. And here's a southbound coming flying into town, and that is another one of those city rail units. And this is the load. So we're literally just looking at the empty center beams going north. Those are the loaded center beams with lumber and paper products going south on them. Yeah, Dave, what would we have given to have a webcam up here in 1992 and watch all those ex-BNSF SD45s going through Stevens Point? That would have been quite the show. Good old days, and they were pretty friendly too. That's right. Lots of Procore tanks and UTLX tanks, but this guy is cruising into town. All right, so this is train 340 is what he said over the radio. Heading south into Stevens Point, heading for a crew change. Well, when I say paper products, it's you're right. The paper products are in the box cars. The lumber is on the center beams. I was thinking more along the lines of it's all forestry. That's a better way to describe it. It's all forestry products. It's all timber products. So yes, thank you for the correction. Yeah, the paper products on the center beam flat cars probably would not make it to their destination undamaged. That would not be good. We got potash coming down. Lots of potash that comes down out of Western Canada. Many, many more lumber cars here. And we've got another CN motor as the DPU. Yes, even numbers go south. Evens go, well, and for the CN and the CP as well. Evens go south and east, and odd numbered trains go north and west. That's right. CSXT hoppers back to Bone Valley, Florida. Really? So what's the loading on those? I'm not familiar with that. All right, we are going to jump off of here, but again, thank you, Paul, for hosting, and thank you, Henry, for hosting over in Paul here in Stevens Point and Henry over in Neenah. And now that we've checked those two out, we are going to go over here to Grand Mound, because Grand Mound miraculously has come back online without me having to actually make a trip to Grand Mound. I don't actually know. I think actually the utility company is the one that was able to resolve the issues on their end. The local phone company is the utility there in Grand Mound. But we are back online, and we definitely want to check out some UP action in eastern Iowa on Grand Mound. Phosphates from dinosaur bones. Love that. I love that description. We do get quite a bit from dinosaur bones, and phosphates are one of them. All right, so we have got Grand Mound. Been back online for about a day and a half here. Maybe 2.5 days. And here we have the gates coming done, and I believe this is going to be an eastbound showing up at Grand Mound. So, for anyone that's checking in here late, you can definitely go back and re-watch the interview from the beginning of this episode with Jee Micheel. And oh, there's the defect detector. And an eastbound running on the left-hand track, just as God and the CNW intended it. And we have a container train here. There were some CR Englands up on the head end, Hub Group, EMP, Swift trailers. There's some pretty good stuff here. Schneider trailers. One of the things I was reading was that UP apparently won back the Schneider contract from BNSF. So I found that fascinating. That was something that I read probably back a month ago now. Some CSX trailers, and here we have some trailer on flat cars. So this is definitely a bird. Some fascinating images on the sides of the trailers as they roll by here. It's a beer train. All right, I assume you're going to expand across that. Yeah, UPS trailers. Definitely a Z train. There's a mid DPU on it. The beer train, I know that there used to be beer trains that ran out of Milwaukee and out of St. Louis at one time. I've never seen a beer train being referred to as something in Iowa, so I'm fascinated to know what is, exactly that you mean by that, or what the origination of it is. So please. Yes, Ron, no problem. I didn't really do that much work except for I saw it was online and I turned the camera back on, or turned the feed back on at YouTube. But yes, definitely appreciate it. And I know that people really, really like, there's a lot of the Rochelle types that check out this Grand Mound webcam to see when there's trains coming into Clinton. Oh, the first containers, they look German. They were CR England containers, I believe, up there on the head end. Yes, a lot more Schneider on the UP, that's for sure. And that's because of this contract that they won back for the Schneider traffic from BNSF. So that's why you're seeing Schneider traffic moving across the former CNW here in eastern Iowa again. Or at least a lot more of it anyway. I think there was always a little bit, but they won some major contract back with Schneider that allowed them to carry the majority of that traffic west of Chicago. So how much? Apparently it's kind of a slow morning at Grand Mound. Let's keep going back here. We're going to find something. It's just a matter of doing a little bit of digging sometimes. But we're definitely going to find ourselves, as we continue back through the morning, oh, here we go. I knew we'd find something here. Oh yeah, this was a move that I was aware of also, and to catch it in daylight is in eastern Iowa is actually kind of difficult. But we are going to see something that...
Detector, milepost 24.9, track 2.
We're going to see something that I don't think that we have caught on camera via Trackside with Tom just yet. So we've got, a couple of UP motors up front. They've got that SD70 second out. And here I'm going to pause this. These are loads of John Deere tractors that come out of Waterloo. The Iowa Northern brings them from Waterloo down to Beverly Yard on the southwest side of Cedar Rapids, and then they get added to an eastbound train. Sometimes they get added to NPPR, but sometimes other trains as well. But this tractor traffic is for export out of the John Deere Waterloo works. And so, because this normally runs overnight, this guy running late, or it's on a different train, or whatever the case is, that we just haven't caught this before. We see these kinds of flat car loads in downtown Cedar Rapids getting interchanged between the Iowa Northern and the UP from time to time, and they run these tractor loads down, I don't know, once a month, maybe more often than that. John Deere loads for the NS in Chicago, then to Baltimore. That's right, Port of Baltimore for export. That is exactly right. But honestly, it's just not something that you really see very much of. It used to be very common to see things like combines or harvesters and tractors and all manner of farm equipment being moved on flat cars, and now it just has become much, much more rare. And the vast majority of it is for export when you see it getting moved by rail. So it looks like that these tank cars might have actually had snow on top of them and it's melting away. If anybody has a train symbol for this, that would be appreciated. Enjoy the SD70Ms while you can. Most of the 4000 series leaving the UP roster. 4300, yes, that's right. And actually quite a few of those, not the SD70, the SD60s, the ex-UP SD60s have been making their way up to the WSOR in southern Wisconsin. And but I do know that those SD70s are part of the next generation of power that's being purged off of Class 1 rosters. There's one of those goofy NS coil cars that Noah's complained about from time to time. So yes, I do intend on getting some of our co-hosts back involved next week or in the following week. The following weeks as we come along here. And otherwise, pretty standard UP manifest traffic. We haven't seen a DPU just yet. But I'm guessing we're probably going to see something based just on the length of this train that I would expect to see some kind of either mid-train or rear-train DPU. Love the tractors. Yeah, I agree. The moment I saw those tractors, I knew that we had to stop and check that out. There's an MKT hopper. Not very many of those left, I would have to guess. Pardon me. And, we got an auto rack. We got a chunk of auto racks here on the rear of the train, or close to the rear of the train. I guess I don't know that it's the rear for sure. But this guy is eastbound on Main 2 at Grand Mount, and he's headed for a crew change at Clinton. And, a pretty healthy cut of auto racks here on the rear. Oh, well, now we've got more manifest after the auto racks. Go figure. It's too bad that UP doesn't give us the train length, because I would be fascinated to know what this guy clocks in at for a total train length. We'll just have the Gevo bricks. Oh, yeah, I know. Running WSOR, Janesville and Horicon, bridge the CN Waukesha sub between Waukesha and Slinger. Yes. There's our mid-train DPU. A winged and flagged GE unit rolling through the middle of the train. That's right. And, I think that, honestly, you're going to see these short lines start to embrace SD60s, SD70s, SD75s. As these get purged off of the Class 1 rosters, you're going to see more and more of them show up on these short lines. Because that's exactly what happened 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when everybody was getting rid of their SD40s. And their Jeep 40s and Jeep 38s, they all ended up on short lines, and every short line was running around with these big consists of SD40s. it's going to play out again in pretty much the same way, I'm predicting, with the short lines being able to move up to a little bigger power, but still get the Class 1 leftovers for themselves to enjoy. And the last one we're going to see here off of Grand Mound is going to actually be, I believe this is going to be a coal train. And we might have to jump ahead a little bit. No, there wasn't much train after the mid-train DPU. But here we have an empty coal train headed west on Main 2. 8617 is the leader. That's a EMD SD70 from what it looked like. Yeah, and I know that some of those BNSF-9s ended up with the KCS, and they look just like a BNSF unit, but they're lettered KCS now. So anyway, we're not going to roll this whole coal train by. I just wanted to make people aware that Grand Mound was back online, so make sure and enjoy that. Pardon me. And now we are going to make sure that everybody knows that steel-highway.com is where you can go to order the Steel Highway magazine, order a ball cap, subscribe. Oh, that came off the CP. That's interesting. So you might be able to find that. You might be able to find this train if you roll back on the Bellevue cameras and the Guttenberg and Dubuque cameras. You might be able to find them there as well. That is an excellent point. So we are drawing to a close here this afternoon. But everyone make sure and check out steel-highway.com and order a magazine, order yourself a ball cap, subscribe for the whole year. I have lots of magazines. I love sharing everyone's photography that submits photos. It's just fantastic, and I enjoy every minute of it. Why nobody buying any of those units stuffed away at the progressive shops? I don't know. I think some of those might be fodder for rebuilds, though. Like these SD30 and Jeep 22 Eco rebuilds that they're working on. That might be part of the reason why. Anyway, there is the rear. Oh, and we only had one unit on the head end. That was a one-unit wonder. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I appreciate everybody checking out Trackside with Tom. Again, my name is Tom Hogan, and please tune in again next week at noon on Monday. And we will be here, and we'll be checking out more exciting train action across Steel Highway webcams. So, check out steel-highway.com, and everybody have a fantastic rest of your day.